Hello, people. I'm Sarah. This story will show you how fast people can change, how jealousy and entitlement can spoil someone's life. I come from a pretty wealthy family. I don't like to boast about my riches since they belong to my father. Still, I mentioned it because it is relevant to the story. My husband, Griffin, was an employee at my father James's company. My dad worked hard to establish the company, and over the years it became big. While my mother didn't live long enough to enjoy the fruits of their labor, my dad continues to have a comfortable life. My husband, Griffin, is the son of a very close family friend of ours. Lola and Ken were like a second set of parents to me. It was them who helped me and Dad go through the grief of losing my mom. Griffin and I were also very close, and slowly we started to eventually date. He was my childhood sweetheart and the love of my life. Now, Ken and Lola are not as wealthy as we are. Naturally, Griffin used to hold some resentment towards me when we were younger. However, those complaints died down as my father offered him a job at his company. While I was happy for him, Griffin was a little put off. He said, "I can't believe your dad couldn't get me a better position. I mean, the salary isn't even close to what he earns. This is ridiculous." Griffin, my dad gave you the job that you are qualified for. You have very limited skills while my dad actually owns the company. How can you even compare your salary with his earnings? He's the boss of the company. I'm engaged to his daughter. James could have gotten me a better position. He could have done this little for his son-in-law. What is the point of being his son-in-law when he can't even get me a good job? What are you saying, Griffin? You know my dad doesn't discriminate like that. Just because you're engaged to me, that doesn't mean he will automatically give you a job you don't deserve. Oh, please. He could have at least let me manage the company and took a retirement or something. Do you know how shameful it is for me to have a lowly job while being engaged to the daughter of a businessman? I had a tough time comprehending what Griffin was saying. We had just got engaged and my dad offered him a position in his company. Griffin was continuously complaining about his past job, so my father wanted to do him a favor. But my dad wouldn't have put him in a higher position just because he was engaged to me. Back then, a few of my friends told me that Griffin might be a gold digger. I had laughed in their faces. Lola and Ken were like parents to me, and I have known Griffin all my life. I was sure I knew him better. I was sure that he loved me. I was wrong. As soon as we got married, Griffin started to become nasty towards me. He stopped showing me affection and didn't even remember my birthday or anniversary. Slowly, he was starting to neglect me while making me do all the house chores on my own. I begged him to improve his behavior. I said, "Griffin, I can feel you drifting away from me. You have stopped showing affection and don't even want to spend time with me anymore. I'm a busy man, Sarah. I don't have a fortune like your father, so that I can sit on my ass every day. You're lucky your daddy's money lets you do that." Griffin, I don't take my dad's money for my expenses. You know that. I work very hard around the house to be a good stay-at-home wife. I don't sit on my butt all day. What you are saying is very hurtful. Well, I don't care. Since we are married now, you can't live like a princess anymore. Your father doesn't pay me enough to feed you for free. You better not slack off on your wifely duties. Griffin completely steamrolled my concerns and didn't even acknowledge my hurt. He simply started to berate me for what he thinks are my mistakes. Trust me, guys, I didn't live on my father's money. It was Griffin's idea for me to be a stay-at-home wife. He fed me some bullshit like how our kids would grow up better this way. Now I know that they were empty dreams made to isolate me and enslave me in the house. I was stuck, taking care of the house and taking care of him. Griffin didn't even talk to me politely anymore. All he did was scream at me when he came home. I was getting tired of his behavior and felt worn out. Still, I believed that he loved me, so I stayed and didn't tell anyone. The breaking point of our marriage happened a few days before my 29th birthday. While I was out running errands with my father, I spotted a beautiful dress in the mall. It was rather expensive, but my father bought me the dress as a birthday gift. It wasn't over the top or anything, just a simple white dress from an expensive brand. I liked the dress, so my dad told me to get it for myself. At home, I was trying the dress on to show Griffin my new gift. When Griffin walked in and looked at my dress, he immediately flew into a rage. I could tell that he hated the fact that I was wearing expensive clothes. Griffin was extremely upset and said, "I told you, Sarah, I don't like you going out in expensive clothes. Why don't you just listen to your husband for once?" "What I wear is none of your business, Griffin. I don't dictate what you wear, and you shouldn't do that either. It's just a simple white dress. Why are you overreacting about this anyway?" "Because your dad bought you this dress. You live with me now, and I can't afford to buy you expensive clothing. People will laugh at me when they realize that you buy stuff with your father's money." "I am my dad's only child, Griffin. Naturally, he would want to spoil me. If you want to gift me something, I won't even care about its price. I would be happy that my husband has lovingly bought me something." "I don't like to waste my money on gifts, Sarah. It was different when we were dating, but now you are my wife. I don't have to woo you with gifts. Instead of spending so much on yourself, you should be giving me gifts." I was absolutely shocked by what Griffin said. So he basically wanted me to take money from my dad and buy him stuff. It was bizarre. I had no idea why he thought that I would agree to it. Me and Griffin fought about this issue for a long time. Still, we didn't reach a compromise. I refused to give up my stuff to appease him, and he continued to demand that I buy him things with Dad's money. He said, "I know your dad gives you his credit card at times. You should take advantage of it and buy me some good stuff." Are you freaking mad? First of all, that is fraud. My dad gives me his credit card to pay his bills. You know he is not well, so I run errands for him. The dress was a birthday gift from him. I can't just go around and spend his money on stupid things. You can easily get me stuff as well. You don't need your dad's permission. If you can't buy me something as well, you have no right to get yourself a gift. No matter what, Griffin was adamant that I should either return the gift or convince my dad to give him something of the same value. I was getting tired of his demanding attitude. It was bad enough that he made me pay most of the bills, but it looked like Griffin always wanted more. Slowly, I was checking out of our marriage. Griffin didn't care and was barely home anyway. I was tired of feeling controlled in the marriage. However, divorce was also not very appealing to me right then. Somewhere in my heart, my love for Griffin still existed. I also thought that Griffin still loved me too, but I was forced to make a drastic decision because of his actions. On my birthday, Griffin didn't even wish me happy birthday the entire day. There were no gifts, no cake, no surprises, not even a mere happy birthday. His parents did wish me and showered me with affection, but my own husband didn't even acknowledge my birthday. My dad called me and I broke down on the call. He said, "Sarah, what is wrong, dear? Why are you crying like this? Are you sick?" "No, Dad, I'm not sick. It's just that Griffin didn't even wish me happy birthday today. He has been neglecting me for a while. I'm working very hard to stay in this marriage, but he is taking me for granted." "What are you saying, Sarah? I don't understand. I thought that you two have the perfect marriage. You haven't said anything otherwise. What happened so suddenly?" I finally broke down and told Dad everything. The controlling ways of Griffin, his demands for expensive gifts, all of it. Dad listened to me and was silent the entire time. I could tell that he was absolutely furious at Griffin. He said, "Why didn't you tell me sooner, Sarah? This is not okay. He's becoming abusive towards you." "I still love him, Dad. I didn't want to leave him or tell anyone about our problems. He hates it when I talk about my problems. I guess I got used to not talking about it." "Sarah, I think you should take a step back and reevaluate your marriage. I don't like the way Griffin is behaving with you. He is starting to take advantage of you. You need to talk to him and stand up for yourself. I know, Dad. I'm willing to give him a chance, but at this point, I doubt he will change. Let him be for now, Sarah. Today's your birthday, and I don't want to spoil it. I will call Lola and Ken. We will arrange a nice dinner and go out to celebrate. Griffin won't be invited. Thank you, Dad. I think I should get out of the house for a bit. Griffin said that he will be late and doesn't want to go anywhere. Dad and I made plans to celebrate with my in-laws. We didn't tell Lola or Ken about what was going on. I was still on the fence about giving Griffin an ultimatum. My heart and mind was a mess. I quickly got ready and put on the dress that my dad gifted me. It was the only gift I had received for my birthday. As I was going out, Griffin came home. While I was coming down the stairs, he was rummaging through the wine cabinet. He took one look at me and said, "What the hell, Sarah? I told you to get rid of the dress. Why are you wearing it? Where are you even going?" "I am going for my birthday dinner. My dad arranged for a small celebration with your parents. Since you don't even bother wishing me today, you are not invited." "I don't want to go to your stupid dinner anyway. And you shouldn't go out either. I'm tired and I need a drink. You need to cook me dinner. You better start preparing my dinner, and I want this dress gone. Burn it or throw it away." "No, I won't get rid of the dress or cook you dinner. I'm going out with my dad. You have controlled my life enough. I won't let you do it this time." I said that and was ready to walk out of the door. I was sad that Griffin cared so little about my feelings. But what Griffin did next sent me into a fit of rage. He took a bottle of wine from the shelf beside him and completely spilled it on me. Yes, at the very last moment, Griffin decided to ruin my dress by spilling wine on me. No, it was not a mistake. He smirked at me while I was drenched in wine. He said, "There, now you won't be able to wear that dress again. Since you have to change anyway, why don't you just stay at home and make me dinner? Your plans are ruined anyway, and so is your dress." "You did this on purpose, didn't you? How dare you, Griffin? This is assault. You can't do this to me." "Oh, don't give me that bullshit, Sarah. It was just some wine. Now stop being a witch and fix me dinner. I deserve a treat for tolerating your horrible behavior." Griffin said that and went straight to our room to change. I didn't even move from the spot. I was fuming and was in absolute disbelief. My own husband dumped wine on me, and I knew for a fact that it was assault. I was shaking from rage, but also a little scared of Griffin. While he was in our room, I grabbed my keys and left the house. I drove to my dad's place with tears streaming down my face. Once I reached there, my dad came out to greet me. He took one look at me and did a double take. Yes, I was still in the wine-stained dress. Dad looked worried and took me inside. He said, "What the hell happened, Sarah? Why are you covered in wine? Why are you crying?" "Dad, Griffin dumped an entire bottle of wine on me. And no, he didn't do it accidentally. He did it on purpose." "What the hell are you saying, Sarah? Why would he do that? Tell me everything now." "Dad, he hated the fact that you bought me an expensive dress. Griffin also said—" I told my dad everything about my marriage, from the horrible behavior to the entitlement. Everything came pouring out of my mouth. Dad listened to everything very patiently. However, I could see him getting angrier and angrier with every word. When I was done, I was still crying from recounting everything and being soaked to the bone in wine. I'm petite, and a single bottle did a lot of damage. My dad hugged me and said, "What happened today is unacceptable, Sarah. You should have come to me sooner. I would have had a stern word with Griffin. It's too late for that now." "I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't want any trouble. Lola and Ken are good people. I didn't want you spoiling your relationship with them." "Sarah, your in-laws need to know how Griffin is treating you. We have kept them in the dark for a while now. I think it's the right time to show them what their son has become. They need to know, Sarah. It won't affect our relationship, I promise." Dad reassured me about everything, and the two of us had a deep discussion. I was still pretty angry at Griffin and no longer wanted to be in the marriage. However, I wasn't going to let him go easily. I was going to make him pay for what he had done to me. Me and Dad rushed to my in-laws' place before Griffin could come up with a sob story of his own. They were expecting us anyway, so Lola and Ken were not surprised at our arrival. What surprised them was my state. They quickly said, "Oh my God, Sarah, what happened to you? Why are you soaked in wine? You poor thing. Come in and change. I'll give you something to wear." "No, Lola, I don't want to change. I need to be this way because I will go to the police station next. I can't change out of these clothes." "Why do you have to go to the police, Sarah?" "You're scaring us. What's wrong? Where's Griffin? Did you tell him what happened?" "Guys, I'm afraid it's Griffin who did this to Sarah. I know you two are confused. That's why we're here to tell you everything. Let's go inside and talk." All four of us went in to have a discussion. I told Lola and Ken everything that I told my father. Thankfully, I also had the recordings of our home security system. Those videos showed Griffin intentionally pouring wine on me. Lola and Ken were shocked to see their son's true face. Lola started to cry while Ken looked furious. I said, "I'm sorry for doing this, Lola and Ken. I have no other option left. For years, I put up with Griffin's horrible behavior because I loved him. Today he showed me how vile and disgusting he can be. I'm afraid that I have to file for divorce and talk to the police." "Don't say sorry, Sarah. It's me and Lola who are ashamed right now. I don't have any words to say how mad and disappointed we are in Griffin. That cannot be our son. We didn't raise him like that. He has turned into a monster, Sarah. He acts so nice to you in front of us. I can't believe he is so cruel to you. You would be right to leave him and report this to the police. What he did is unforgivable." "I'm afraid I'll be firing him from the job, guys. There's no way I'm keeping him in my company, not after everything he's done to Sarah." "I don't want to drag you through dirt, Ken and Lola, but Griffin has left me with no choice. You have been so good to me and loved me so much. I hope we don't have any bad blood between us." "Don't worry about that, guys. James and Sarah, you will always be family to us. My son deserves to be punished for what he did. And we won't be there to support him. He will be on his own. Hell, I want to disown him, actually. I don't want to associate with a sick man like Griffin. Ken would agree with me, I guess." "Guys, I know I told you that my in-laws are good people, but I had no idea how much they would support me." Lola and Ken were absolutely furious with Griffin. They agreed not to support him and would actually disown him once our divorce was finalized. My dad was also ready to fire Griffin. But first, we all went to the police station to file a report. Then, we went out to celebrate what was left of my birthday. I was sad, but also determined to come out strong. The next day, Griffin called me frantically when I didn't come home. He also panicked over the fact that the cops wanted to talk to him. On the phone, he seemed mad and was yelling at me for defying him and so on. I recorded all the conversations and told him that he would get divorce papers soon. He blew his top and then called his parents for support. When they gave him a piece of their mind, Griffin knew he was in trouble. The next few days, he begged and pleaded for forgiveness. The divorce papers came through and Dad fired him from his job. Griffin's own parents refused to help him, so he was forced to borrow money for a lawyer. With a police report hanging on his head, Griffin was having a tough time getting a job. My dad's influence also added to his miseries. He was forced to take a lower-paying job to bring food to the table. Since I didn't work, our divorce settlement included alimony from him. We agreed on mutual divorce because he had no means to drag a court battle. Currently, he's living with 3 roommates while trying to pay me alimony and feed himself. His parents still don't talk to him but have a good relationship with me. Me, Dad, Ken, and Lola are still a family unit, and I am finally living a good life away from my horrible husband.